3.4 million Americans are impacted by epilepsy, 65 million worldwide. And epilepsy is also the fourth most common neurological disorder behind migraines, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease.
Now, the month of November is dedicated to bringing awareness, and our next guests are hoping to spread the word about this illness. Please welcome husband and wife, Miguel and Kelly Cervantes. Good morning, you two.
Good morning.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Of
Yes,
course.
thanks for being here. Now, Miguel, you're currently starring on Broadway in Hamilton. Congratulations on getting
Thank
that
you.
title
Yeah.
role.
It's been such a crazy 2 years to be having to sit at home and watch Hamilton on Disney Plus when I
Yeah.
should be up on stage doing it. We're so thankful to be back up and running and back on Broadway and having the people back in real life, so it's been amazing.
Absolutely. We'll get to that even a little bit more in a little bit. But first, we want to talk to you about really how your lives have been affected by epilepsy and how losing your daughter at such a young age to the disorder has fueled your mission. Can you tell us how old she was? Adelaide?
Yeah, so Adelaide, she passed away 5 days shy of her fourth birthday. And it was, our Hamilton journey and our epilepsy journey were so intertwined.
Yeah.
Adelaide was diagnosed with epilepsy the same week that Miguel booked Hamilton.
Oh.
Wow.
And so it was this crazy ride. Miguel describes it as like having a parachute or having a rocket in one hand and a parachute in the other. And it was, she had a particular form of epilepsy called infantile spasms, which sounds rather tame, but is incredibly neurologically devastating. And for many babies, they can get it under control with medications, but
Yeah.
for Adelaide, they couldn't. And so she had, her seizures changed over time. She would have 20-minute long seizures,
Wow.
or she would have 20 seizures in a day.
Yeah.
And eventually it just, her brain started to shut down and we
Yeah.
had to let her go.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
At the time, what did you as parents, you want to do everything you possibly can for your child, right? And what did you actually know about epilepsy? What kind of resources were out there at that time for you? As young parents, you get this diagnosis and you're like, well, now what do I do?
I think most of us here would think, we have a disorder and you go to the doctor and you expect the doctor to say, oh, here's the problem
Right.
and here's how we're going to fix it. Here's what we're going to do. It may work, sometimes it's not unsuccessful, but here are the tools we have to do it. When we got to the doctor and we found out, epilepsy, the seizures where people fall on the ground and they shake a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then we found out how unbelievably complex and different epilepsy can be in many different people. Then we find out how little is known about the brain and why these things happen. And then when a doctor says to a young family with hopes of, fixing it all with some pills, well, we're not really sure how to fix this, but we're going to try this and see if it works. And, it's devastating to hear that kind of news
Yes.
when all you want to do as a parent
Of course.
is protect your child
of
and
course.
make them
Yeah.
feel better.
So since
Yeah,
losing Adelaide, you two really have been champions for spreading the word about epilepsy and raising funds for research. So what do you want people to know about epilepsy?
I want them to know that it affects every individual differently, and it affects the entire family. It affects their entire social structure, that we need research. We need so much more research. 1/3 of people diagnosed with epilepsy will be intractable, meaning that their seizures will not be controlled by medications or treatments. And those medications and treatments can have horrible side effects. And, we're talking about surgeries where pieces of the brain are removed. I mean, this is not like there's no simple solutions here. And we desperately need that research because this is one of the oldest known neurological disorders,
Right.
yet we know so little about it, which is one of the reasons that we connected with Cure Epilepsy, which was founded by Susan Axelrod, political David Axelrod's wife. She is amazing and brilliant and my personal hero and inspiration. She went out there and said, you know what, living with epilepsy, finding a good way to live with epilepsy isn't good enough. We
Yeah.
need cures. And to
Right.
do that, we need research. And So this is just, it's a cause that we are so passionate about, because no family should have to hold their loved one while they're seizing, or have to say goodbye to them. And all too many families do.
And
so
then
young.
as a family, you know, if you go through something like this, sometimes you don't want to talk about it, right? And so Kelly, you know, you have this podcast that you go on and you talk about it, and you have this blog as well where you've been documenting your journey, which I think is so important for other parents who may be going through this to be like, okay, I need to know what other parents were doing and know that they have that support group out there. How has that helped you and your family?
Oh my goodness, it has been, the podcast has been amazing. I do that with Cure Epilepsy. It's called Seizing Life. And it's so, I learned so much in talking to different scientists and different families about the different types of epilepsy and the research that's being done. But then I hear from other people who listen to it who are like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Or they share it with their families so that they have an idea, you know, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I have. And with the blog, honestly, it started as a way for, I was struggling so much in caring for Adelaide, and I needed an outlet, and I wanted to keep our family and friends updated on how she was doing. And then it just sort of exploded into this brilliant following of all of these different families who could relate. And I have this epilepsy family that, it's this club you never want to be a part of, but oh my goodness, the people who are members are some of the most incredible people I have ever met. And I'm just so grateful to be able to share our stories and to hear back from them how we're helping.
Well, it is such important work that you're doing, and such appreciated work.
Yeah.
Everything that you do. We do appreciate your time.
And
too.
I have to say, she became an amazing writer out of all of this.
Wow.
To see my wife blossom into a writer and how much she's affected the world. It's been amazing.
That's amazing. And I do want to also give some attention. You also have a son, right, who we have a picture of because he came to see Daddy in Hamilton. So beautiful, beautiful family right here outside of the theater. And how many times has he seen the show?
5.
Oh,
and
my
I think
goodness.
the last 2 times,
I don't think it's that
maybe
many.
3 in the last 2 times he didn't fall asleep. So I think we're doing well.
But I bet he knows all the songs like all of us do, right?
He's learning it on the piano. He's a closet Hamilton fan. You know, we don't listen to the music in the house very much, but I think he tells his friends who Daddy is sometimes.
That's cool.
That's
My dad's
amazing.
Hamilton on Broadway, by the way.
Hey, thank you both for what you're doing, for coming on, for being brave enough to talk about this and really help so many families. What you're doing is amazing, amazing work for so many.
Thank you so much for having us, and
Thanks
for
so much.
giving us the opportunity to spread some awareness this month.
Absolutely.
And welcome back to New York.
Yes.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
All right. And we can learn
Cheers.
more. We can learn more about epilepsy at cureepilepsy.org.